live from sunny San Diego, California. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of the afternoon swing trading floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsome, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, and trade it. What's going on, my friends from around the world? How are each and every one of you? It is most certainly Wednesday. So glad for you all to be here. Don says, way to make the commitment. Yes, absolutely. It has happened. The news is out. Ashley and I officially are engaged. She actually said yes. So that was exciting for me. But yeah, I appreciate that all. Thank you so much for the love and for the admiration and for the kind words and gestures and thoughts. It really means a lot. Truly it does. We've been very happy for a very long time. We're going to be even happier. Jill says, I knew, hot air balloon, right? Yep. A lot of people call that one well. Adriano says, good afternoon from Brazil. What's up, buddy? Thanks for being here. Chuck says, congrats. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. I'll be chatting with you in about 90 minutes or so. All right, team. Let's chat SPY. So this red line is what I do expect is going to happen. It might be worst case scenario. It might not happen exactly this way, but it would make sense for this to occur on the SPY. We had a good move. I mean, June has been so many has been so profitable for so many traders already, and we're really just getting started. So June's had a good month, a good move early in the month. It's only the 13th of June. So, if you're looking at the SPY, since June 1st, we've really just been kind of rocking straight up. So today is one of the first down, I think the first down day for the month of June. So anyway, it's okay. It's okay for it to happen. We can get a little bit of a rest. We can get a pullback. We're in some bullish trades. We might be setting up one more trade today. We'll just have to see. But we'll go through. We'll look through everything. We'll see what we got. Overall, though, pretty much thumbs up all around. So that's the SPY. Here's the Qs, and the Qs doesn't look so bad. Again, a little bit of a bearish candle, but again, new all-time high, and just looks gorgeous. So that's what the Qs are doing. Very, very pretty there. The IWM, which is oftentimes known as a market leader, was also decently bearish today. And again, if you're not in, I think it could easily pull back to the 20 and bounce on the IWM. Here's the Dow Jones ETF, right? So just a nice, healthy retracement, a good needed pullback, and the XLE is still trading into that resistance. It'll be a while before it breaks out of that, in my opinion. But the overall daily chart, not a whole lot of greatness to be had yet on the XLE. So we'll just have to kind of see what it looks like and what ends up happening. JL says, after that IPO pick, Jeremy said I better put a ring on it. Very true. Very true. That was one of the big 2018 winners for many traders was IQ. So, yeah, it was deliciously timed, I must say. Mike has a good question. Mike says, do you know if stocks bounce most often off the 20 or the 50? I would statistically, I do not know the answer to that question. So I don't know which one happens more often, but if I had to guess, I'd say the 20. 20s are a very, very popular moving average. 50 is as well, but if there was a margin, it would be small. It could be a small margin for one stronger than the other. But if you do a little bit of research on that and you come up with an exact answer, Mike, share that one with me. I'd love to look at some research on that. I appreciate you asking that question. It's a very good one. Thank you. So anyway, broadly, if that's a word, just looking at the XLE, I don't see a whole lot. It's just a slow grind. Eventually, this resistance will break and energies will go higher, but it would make sense. I mean, it could pull all the way back down to here and do this for a while, and then we could break down and then bounce, or we could break out of here. I really don't know. So I don't have any position on the XLE, but there are some individual energy stocks that are playing out very well, and we're going to be looking at some of those today. So let's dive in. First on the list is Wynn Resorts and Hotels, WYNN. So I mentioned that I needed, or I drew in here that I wanted a rotation higher and then a rollover. I am in a bull put spread on Wynn. Ron's in a put sale for August. And I'm now going to need a close below here. I'm just going to write this in. If Wynn closes below here, then the next day I will look to unravel, next day or days. So again, the reason I need to close is because this really could form a little bit of a double bottom, right? We could do something like this, and it bounces with a wick or something. So I need to close. I still have plenty of time, literally a month. So there's no real reason for me to do anything too crazy at this particular point. Most spreads, if you place them right, stock will bounce into the spread and eventually bounce out of the spread. So, I mean, we're in it. We'll see if it works. I have some options expiring this Friday, which should be relatively profitable, but we'll just have to see what Wynn ends up doing. So update on the unravel or defense of this spread. Because again, if it trades down into that support, so you'll notice, I mean, I have a trend line there, and if it does bounce off of that trend line, then, you know, we could easily go higher, and there's a little bit of a support. But if it doesn't break, it could be a nice unravel, and we make a little bit of a gain. So I just want to be slightly patient. Yep, that's pretty much it. That's my thoughts on Wynn. So right now, definitely negative on that spread, but I'm going to do my best to unravel that or at least properly mitigate that risk. Next on the list, so my buddy Yates was asking about ZS, and here is ZS. Here it comes. Looks pretty. Let's keep waiting. I mean, I don't know if this is going to S-curve perfectly into this old resistance, new support or not. That's where I would like to play it. So if you're looking at playing ZS, which is, again, a newer IPO, it'd probably be something like this. And the cool part is, with all bounces, no one knows if they're going to work or not. But what is excitingly exceptional is we can always find out why we're going to get in, where we're going to get in before it happens, and then determine or at least dictate what we do from there. So that's my thoughts on ZS. We'll see if it can rotate down. We'll come back and look at that. Today is Wednesday. We'll look at it again on Friday and determine based on some of our swings if we need to make that official or not. Secondly, today is a very small candle on ZS. So if there are some traders keeping an eye on it, it could for certain pop out of here in one direction or another. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how and if that plays out as well. Cool. So Signet Jewelers is another one that some traders are like, when the heck is this thing going to pull back? And I mean, soon. Here's the weekly chart on Signet, and it has been on a roll. The biggest challenge is it's in a downward trend right now. It's been a very nice downward trend. So it needs to make a lower high. Lower high? No, it needs to make a higher low, because right now it's still just in a nice bearish trend. And this is really kind of the top of that area. So if you're looking at going bearish, I mean, you certainly could. I could like to see it roll over and then kind of bounce, make that higher low, similar to what it did over here and similar to what it did over here. The only difference is you would have known that you would have been wrong once that move right there occurred. Let's go look and see if the last time it bounced, if there was any kind of divergence. Let me go look at RSI. RSI. So the last time there was no divergence, and this time there is divergence. So this was the last time, and RSI made a lower low, so all was good. This time it makes a lower low, RSI makes a higher low. So this gives a little more credence to maybe this is the bottom on SIG. So for those looking at playing it, again, here's the daily. It is a retest gap. You would want a retest, a little bit more of a pullback, and then some type of S-curve to start coming in. So whoever's keeping track of that one, feel free to. And feel free to keep watching it. If you look at the moving averages and you zoom in, it's very extended. So give this one some time, but feel free to put it on your radar for anyone who's watching it to play it accordingly. SFIX, chilling at this resistance, hanging out. It was up 5% today. So what is important is this one did have a beautiful bullish cap and go that was very profitable for the day trades. And it's at a resistance, so it certainly could break higher. Here's the weekly charts, and the weekly chart, a good close above here likely will cause this thing to kind of pop. So again, we've been really hitting some good winners recently on these newer IPOs. That's not always going to work, by the way. But I've heard once someone told me that some things work in the market, just not all the time. So while they're hot, let's keep playing them. There's a lot of volume on this one. It's very volatile, and there's certainly, at least gives it, what's the term I'm looking for? Validation to keep an eye on and watch this one to slowly creep higher. So SFIX, we're going to keep that one on the list, I guess is what I'm saying. Here is HMI. HMI, which one is this one? Don't know this stock. Another IPO. Has pretty okay volume too, and it did just break out 3 days ago. This is obviously a wave 3. At least I think it's obvious. 1, 2, wave 3. So we're going to probably get into a little bit of a wave 4, pull back a little bit more, and then some type of wave 5. Yeah, HMI. That does not look too awful by any means. I'm going to jot that one down. There we go. Okay, HMI. Let's watch it. We can keep track of it if we want to. For whoever requested this one, I really do like the breakout that just occurred. Again, no idea what this company does. Apparel and accessories. Looks like it's going to be a Chinese apparel and accessories IPO then, is my guess. Yeah, I think that's the case. Okay, well, that's these new Chinese IPOs. I mean, they've been fun to play. There's some trend and some direction and some movement, and if you can get volume and you can get a trend, you should be able to make money off of a stock, even if it is just short term. So we'll continue to keep stalking that one. Here's SYK, Stryker Corporation, and this one's in the news. Mila says that's the Chinese Fitbit. Gotcha. So Stryker, just been very volatile recently. Tons of volume. And this thing had a very pretty gap today, actually, and it did fade. So as Adriano says, tons of volume. Yeah, this one has loads of it. So I liked the gap today. This was on my list this morning to day trade bullish, and it just did not do anything. So the ironic thing is I'm kind of looking for this to continue higher. I'm going to start planning it now. And an inside day candle tomorrow would be really nice. But they're not buying Boston Scientific, and people are thinking that's probably good news. We are in a bullish trend. We are potentially bouncing off of the 100. Here's the weekly chart, and the weekly had a good pullback. So let's give it a day or two. We're going to come back to it. It might pull all the way back to the 50 EMA on the weekly, which I think is going to be close to the 200. Yeah, it's the 200. So what I would like to see tomorrow on Stryker is like an inside day candle. I'll put it on the list for tomorrow just to see what it looks like. I think we can keep tabs on this one. I like it because of the gaps and the volume. There were certainly people trapped at open this morning, and I have the inclination that that's going to try to continue. It could be just a short-term bill-paying trade, but I do want to see how it's going to interact. I want to give it a little bit of time because obviously we can see Thanks, brother. We can obviously see a little bit of weakness, right? A lot of volume coming in is also a little bit weak. So that being the case, we want to make sure that we give it a little bit more time. We get an idea of what the candles look like, all that kind of stuff. That's what I got. Apparently, hot air balloons, a single hot air balloon ride is pretty much synonymous with engagement. I love it. You guys are saying it was a no-brainer. Hey, I'll put it this way. Ashley didn't know. She had no idea.
I'm very oblivious to most things.
She had no idea.
I'm really gullible.
Very gullible.
He had the ring in his pocket the whole time and I didn't even notice.
It wasn't even a ring, guys. It was like it was a giant ring box. It was like this huge 14-pound box. It was almost like a 2 foot by 2 foot cardboard box in my pocket. It was almost weighed down the balloon. We had trouble getting off the ground. It was so heavy. Anyway, good times. It's very easy to surprise Ashley is what I'm saying. If you guys ever want to surprise someone, she is easily surprised. All right, so that's Stryker. And so again, Stryker and Boston Scientific, these are the two going back and forth. Stryker was said to buy out Boston Scientific, and it has not. Here's the daily and here's the weekly. So again, the trend looks beautiful. Boston Scientific has been one that is pretty fun to trade. They do a lot, especially with robots and robotics. And it's got higher moves to go. So Boston Scientific in the works. What's interesting is they almost kind of both of them, both Boston and Stryker, look similar in a way. So once the buyout did not go through, Boston gaps down, and the trend is still bullish. So there's going to be some people that go, well, hey, wait a minute. This thing was just at 37. Now it's at 31. That's a 20% drop in a week, 2 days. I want to get back in on that action. So if Boston Scientific, right, breaks above and closes above the high of today's candle, that could continue higher. If it does have a little bit of a continuation of a drop, which makes sense, into the 50, I still think that is a possibility that it too goes higher. So anyway, that's Boston Scientific, that's Stryker, both of those in the news a lot. So it's kind of good to just at least slightly keep some eyes on those. Now, AT&T, obviously the big talk of the town today, down 6%, had 194 million shares traded. And Mr. Squiggles did draw this one good so far, at least. It was definitely trapping people. We did day trade this one today, and all who trade AT&T made a little bit of money on it. So congrats. I was going to take a second afternoon rollover, but my plan stipulates that if I trade something once profitably, I can't trade again a second time. This was easy. It really was. So it was a retest gap. Here's the retest. That's it. So I exited a quarter of the position here, and then I exited the rest here, right there. And just locked in small gain. Got to update my R's for the day on Slack. I am down a little bit on the day. I took 2 trades and lost small on the day. But this was a really good trade I think Stephen King took. This was also a really majestic one I just missed. Just beefed on that one. But AT&T looked good. Nice retest gap. Black candle gapping down. So, yeah, I think it's going to go a little lower. A few of you are looking at picking up AT&T for the long haul, which I understand. Dr. Falconian got 0.77 Rs. Hey, nice job, buddy. That's awesome, man. So I like the gap. It's good volume. I think it could go a little bit lower. It also could go into 31. Dean, the Chancellor Chance, did sell a put. He sold puts on AT&T before. He does not mind owning shares. The volatility is high. And if you go to a monthly chart, I mean, it's AT&T. They spend a lot of money buying Time Warner. But the question is, are they really, is that a bad move for them? And I'd have to argue probably not. Most likely, right? Controlling the pipes. They control what you hear, what you see, what you watch, what you get. Either internet, TV, or radio. So kind of a big deal, I feel like. It's a media conglomerate play. I mean, what an obvious selling spot on AT&T here at 42.69 just a few months ago. And that was the 2009 high. So now we're just back to a support, which looks like an obvious buying support. And, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people picking up some shares on AT&T down here. Just know that it is a long-term play. I don't foresee right now AT&T being super exciting. Today it was really the best bearish gap that it had for a day trade in a while. Tim Thurman also got 0.77 Rs on AT&T. Wow. Man. If roulette had a 0.77 or a 77, I would go and play it, but it does not. So it does have 7, so maybe bet double on 7s. Might need to find a casino tonight. Anyway, nicely done. That's AT&T. And speaking of, here's Time Warner, which that was a very interesting move that it had. I did not expect a gap like this. I thought the deal was kind of going through, so I did not short Time Warner. Even though I should have, apparently. I thought it was kind of done. I guess it hasn't been inked yet. I guess the deal has just simply been approved, but it hasn't fully happened. So this one could be similar to Envision Health, the one that we just recently played with my put sale people, right? There might be some premium on Time Warner. And again, if you do get put to shares and the deal doesn't go through, potentially, even though I don't really know why it wouldn't at this point, maybe make a small gain. But I mean, really, Time Warner is a moot point. If the deal goes through, they have to specify the specifics. But I'm assuming they're just buying it outright, and the stock will just transfer to AT&T, and that'll be that. So AT&T is spending a lot of money, likely will cause the stock to go down a little bit lower, but in the grand scheme of things, people are going to realize, oh, wait, it's one of the biggest companies in the world now. Yeah, we'll go long on it. Anyway, just my thought. I was looking at this one for James Gerard, SVVC, First Hand Technology Value Fund, to the moon. Looks like a cryptocurrency right now. Well, it doesn't look like one right now, but looks like what what cryptos used to look like at one point. Here's the weekly chart, and a strong move. I wish you would have told me about this one at $6, James. Where's my email, man? The good news is this broke above a really big resistance recently. So, again, I'm not in this trade at all, but if I were, I'd probably lock in profits now with some kind of position and then participate on a pullback to 14.19 and then maybe 12.38. This one's got some legs on it, and it's making some good moves. Here's the weekly moving averages, and, I mean, we're above it strong with really good volume. So, yeah, it looks to me, at least, like a put sale opportunity. Or, I'm sorry, a dip buying opportunity. I mean, you could sell a put, but James says he got in at 12. Right on. Well, hey, you got in early. You're up. Yeah. SVVC, First Hand Technology Value Fund. Thumbs up for me, man. Looks good. Bullish trend. Buy the dip. Keep holding. Looks nice. QD is still open. Still open. Here is the daily chart, and this is a pennant pattern right here. Boom, boom. Very pretty. So I'm looking for that to hopefully pop out of here. It may or it may not. It might not, but I like the swing. We'll see what happens. Here's the weekly chart. You have a morning star. You have an inside day week so far with only 2 weeks left. So I'm going to say on QD, looks pretty solid. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I don't know, but we're going to leave that trade open. Go over here to swing trades. All right, so QD still open. Okay, we're doing good, making good time. Next on the list is ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil, with most energies, just resting a little bit. Had a white candle gapping up, retest gap. You know, it's retesting. Here's the weekly chart, long-term moving averages on the weekly. You know, you ran into both of them. So that's kind of what's causing that rest to come in. And then here is the monthly chart. Monthly chart just traded right to the 100 on a monthly as a resistance. And not to mention, you also have this little lower trend line from here. So if you have shares of ExxonMobil, which some of you do, obviously for long-term plays, and they actually ran into this trend line here as well. Probably to look to sell a longer-term covered call. Really, it would have been 2 or 3 days ago. Maybe a $90, like, I don't know, August or September covered call, if there's any premium in there. And if there's not, which there's not, I've checked. Don't worry about it. Move on. Let ExxonMobil keep doing its thing. It's boring. Parsley Energy, on the other hand, we've been trying to play this one recently, and this is the daily chart, and I was kind of interested to see if it was going to break down at one point, which it did not. It did not break down bearish. I wanted to see if it was going to break a support. So since that seems to be the case, we're trading very sideways. I know my buddy Ray likes trading Parsley, or has in the past. I see this as more of a flat stock. Potential invert head and shoulders pattern, yes. It's an ugly one, but this would be the area where it would likely bounce. So if it were me, I'd probably be doing a $25 put sale on Parsley Energy if I wanted to own some shares. Otherwise, if I just want to be in this one long term, obviously it's pretty sideways and pretty choppy. I could see a short-term trade, though. I could. A short-term trade would be another day or two of sideways movement and then a pop out of here higher. So that's Parsley. That's my thoughts. That's what I got. And that's really it. Okay. Next on the list is CY. CY, Cypress Semiconductors. Look at this one yesterday. A little bit of an upper shadow. Definitely a shooting star candle. At a resistance. So again, I know there's a few traders in this one kind of longer term. So, you know, covered call, protective put, some type of collar strategy. Just really depends on your time frame here. If you were swing trading it, you probably sold some today, causing that upper shadow. But here's the weekly, and it looks good. I mean, it's a gorgeous bounce off the 50. So I don't think it's going to go, I mean, by no means is it going to go to zero, but you could see this candle and you'd have to think to yourself, all right, I kind of expect it to do this and this, you know. So if you want to maybe day trade it to hedge on the downside or play the breakout bullish, whatever the case is, Cypress Semiconductors for now looks relatively toasty. At a resistance, play it as you see fit. So that's CY. Next on the list, OKTA. Let's see. Move this over here. Sorry, moving something I can move. All right, so OKTA. I like the pullback. Here's the weekly chart. And my analysis on this one, I actually did this one in the stock review as well. And it looks like a wave 3 to me. So 1, 2, 3, and in that 3 is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're in some type of smaller correction on OKTA. Here's the daily. So it did correct. And if I was playing this one, I would do one of two things. If it bounces higher, you know, if you got in at the 20, cool, because it's bounced off the 20 before. If it breaks higher, great. If it doesn't and trades down to the 50, that'd be the second place where you'd be looking to buy the dip. As it looks like this is an A, B, C wave down. But if it's not, and we do make higher highs, then congrats. Hop in. Trend looks bullish, at least to me, and I like it. That's what I got. Questions, concerns, thoughts so far? Beautiful. All right, let's keep this train rolling. Next on the list, we have LPI. LPI, what are you doing? What are you doing, LPI? Laredo Petroleum, sideways. Here's the weekly chart. Wow, real sideways. Hmm. I'm trying to see if there's any that, I mean, I like the handle, the hammer on a weekly. I do like the hammer. I like the higher high and higher low. It looks good. Long-term moving averages. It's just very sideways. So if you're playing Laredo, you got to love this morning star down here. You have to love this candle. Today probably would have triggered you in bullish, honestly, based on the daily chart, because you have this resistance right here. So there's the resistance. There's the break higher. James says this is an add position for him. Makes sense. Makes sense. So yeah, I mean, it's a buy low, sell high, out of support, nice candle on a weekly. If it's a longer term play, might be like a little bit of an add and reduce down here. I get it. And yeah, keep rocking it out. But overall, she looks pretty decent on the weekly. I do like that hammer. So the support, the main support that it should not break, obviously, is this price right here at about $7. Next on the list is 3D printing. Looking at this one for my girl Ash, and here's the weekly. So the weekly chart got the 100 SMA at 1397. Ash has a 1450 covered call expiring this Friday, and this one's going to get really close. I'm writing this one down for tomorrow morning. What is this? Thursday morning. DDD. By the way, I hope you guys crushed Roku. I'm going to talk about that one actually next. Ricky and a few other traders made 5 hours on Roku. I'm going to look at that one in just a second. So 3D, nice inside day, 2-day pennant pattern. Boom, boom. This is also a nice little pennant pattern. Boom, boom. So 3D, I'm not saying it's going to gap tomorrow. I'm not going to say it will break out. But if it does, I'll be playing it bullish. Ash, I actually think your covered call will expire worthless. It'll get pretty close. But if you have a breakout, a strong bullish move of some kind, either tomorrow or Friday, get in. Looks good. But on the weekly chart, you have the long terms, and I could see it just simply retesting. Even if you do get called away, if you want to, then it'll probably retest. You can buy it again, and then eventually 3D probably goes higher. So, yeah, you buy back the covered call if it breaks out Thursday or Friday. Otherwise, just let it ride. It'll get close, but it should be okay. All right. So Roku. This is the one I talked about yesterday. And I mentioned yesterday on Roku, I was like, hey, guys, they had the exact same high. If it breaks out that resistance, get in bullish. Well, it did, right? So here's that resistance. Not the perfect drawing, but it broke out. Here was your consolidation for about an entire hour, and then you had a nice little move again. So Roku, there's a few of you in that one. Here's the daily time frame. 40.40 is a target for some. 49.16 is a target for some more. For those who are in, and that's just a setup that a few of you have. So I'm just kind of echoing those sentiments. But I like the volume. It looks good. It looks toasty. Good trade for those who are in. Nice hammer. Right there. That's a very nice hammer on Roku. It's very nice. Okay, British Petroleum. Not much happening on BP. At least not much to talk about. Looking at this one for a few traders. A few traders have a covered call. Jesse has a 49 expiring worthless this Friday, and he probably will turn right around and do it again. Keep an eye out for this to happen on BP. I think it will. So if you want to make some money on BP, look forward to trade down to this support, and then guess what we should do from there? Buy the deal. Play that channel. Now, will it work? Who knows? Who knows? But it's BP, and I like playing BP because it is BP. Pays dividends. It's volatile. We all know how they make money. It's one of those stocks where if you buy out of support, you more or less just should wait longer until it goes higher. So go ahead and start planning that one on BP. It seems pretty easy, pretty obvious, pretty simple. First Solar, FSLR, had a beautiful candle, and Angela is jumping up and down with her put sale expiring this Friday. Really, the premium dried up substantially the other day, and there's a few traders in that one as well. So I'm putting First Solar on the list for Friday, and you got to like that volume that came in. So, I mean, realistically, with First Solar, my thought process on this one is I like this candle a lot. Today was an inside day candle. So if she pops out of here, you can either play that bullish with shares, with call options. You could sell puts, short-term, long-term. It's kind of up to you. But it's at a good spot. This easily could be where First Solar does bounce. And again, the weekly, you got the 200. I mean, it hit the 200 on the weekly, pretty much on the penny. And then had a nice little move. So I like it. Definitely, well, I shouldn't say definitely. For those who like First Solar or those who are interested in playing it, it's at a good spot now to be keeping a real close eye on that to occur. LNG has been doing its thing, just slowly retesting as we said it would, right? With this ginormous bullish candle came in, closed above this high. I think you'd want to play this one off of the 50. 50 EMA right now is at 61.46. Back to the weekly, that's right at the 10. One could be so lucky to play LNG on a pullback down there. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to work, but it could. It means that it certainly could. And, yeah, that's all I got on LNG. I mean, the 50 looks nice. So that's it. Buy off the 50. If you're in, just keep holding. Here's OXY, Oxy. This was just an absolute cruiser of a stock. Man, a pullback to 78 would be great. This one has broken out. I mean, officially. Here's the monthly. Yep. I mean, if you get a pullback on Oxy, if you're looking at playing it, and whatever, again, it's all about time frame. That's the most important aspect of trading. Your monthly 100 looks very, very keen. Really good support resistance right there. And here's your exponential moving averages. So again, this is the weekly. And then over here on the daily, it's a retest gap. So it's on the 20 right now. For anyone who's interested in playing Oxy, whoever requested this one, I would say it's at the 20. Let it either bounce off, or if it breaks lower, trading down into here, you can play that short-term move bearish and then buy it off the 50, or just wait. But that's my analysis on Oxy. Nicely done. All right, HK, not doing anything right now. Hanging out. Where's my lines? There they are. So HK, this 338, this is a short-term swing trade that there is a trader or two who are in. Some of you are playing at absolute zero along with me. So if you're playing the absolute zero, saying, okay, if this thing goes to zero, which again, I still personally feel like this is a very nice undervalued oil energy play. If it goes to zero, I'm going to lose 2 R's. And if that happens, that's okay, but it's going to be challenging for that to occur, I feel like. It's a longer-term play. Most of you have only been in for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So just consider that. Long-term for me on this particular play means I'm willing to hold this one about a year to see if it kind of regroups. And that'll be that. So HK, we'll see how she plays out. SOGO, another brilliant move. Trade into a target, $13. The high of today was $13.21. Yesterday, it was a retest gap. This is the retest. Congrats to those who made money on SOGO. Just that simple. Yates says keep the stop. If your stop is at 1038, yes, I would keep the stop there. This looks like it's going to work on being a flag pattern. And it's going to do almost exactly what it did last time. It had to hit the 10 before it retested. So 13, I mean, is or was a brilliant target. And you can't go broke making a profit. So sometimes it's always a good idea to peel off a little bit at a target, even if it's just a tenth or a quarter, 1/16, 1/8, 1/32. But at this point, I think it's going to be a flag pattern. And I know a lot of you are still in SOGO, and your next really big resistance obviously is this previous all-time high. The question is obviously, will we get there? I wish I knew the answer, but support, resistance, resistance. This could be the top. What I will say on SOGO is if this is not the top and she breaks out, this is going to be the easiest $1.70 I've made in a long time. So if we hang out and just trade sideways, and the breakout above here, easy day. Close my eyes. Kobe Bryant. SOGO, that's my thoughts. Hey, congratulations for those in Southwest Airlines. You got a 0.75% move up today. It's trying. So per Mr. Squiggles, it did almost to the day start to bounce after making that new low right here. Obviously, it didn't happen at the exact price I drew it at 49, but that's all I got. I mean, this is, if it's going to happen, I've been saying this, and I know it takes time, unfortunately, but yeah, it's doing its absolute best. So you're starting to get a one white soldier on a weekly chart. Best case scenario for those who have shares of Southwest. Inside candle, let it break higher. Just be patient. It's going to take its time. I'm flying Southwest again Sunday, which doesn't mean the stock's going to go higher. But Justin says, can you get Mr. Squiggles to be more exact? I try, man. Doing the best. Ash says I have a longer term call and I'm down 1.8 Rs. So that one really does depend. I mean, with options on Southwest, if she doesn't start moving, I would create a deadline. Create a day in your calendar and say, okay, if it doesn't move, if Southwest doesn't close above 53, I would say by the end of the month, by the end of June, if it doesn't close above 53, then just kick it. Because with leaps, you're not getting the dividends. If I play leaps, I usually play leaps on stocks that don't pay dividends. I can obviously play leaps on stocks that do pay dividends, but you don't get the dividends. It doesn't help almost at all, but it helps a little. If you're in shares and you're holding the dividends, because you did just get the dividends about a week ago. Not that they were anything fantastic, but anyway, $53. It needs to close there by the end of June. If it doesn't, I'll just kick it to the curb and then look to re-enter later if you have calls. If you have shares, just keep being patient. Microsoft, 108.85, hanging out. So we'll put this on the list for Friday. Ash, congrats. It looks like your covered calls will expire worthless and you can do them again. Pattern looks cool. It's at the 10. It could easily bounce. If it pulls down to the 20, buy the dip there. If that doesn't work, buy the dip off the 50. If that doesn't work, try to buy the dip off the 100. And if that doesn't work, try to buy the dip off the off the 200. Those are usually the four. Remember, I will lose or attempt to play a stock 4 times on a bounce before I just cut it. You need to cut it. So anyway, Microsoft, Ash, covered call, looks good. Nice little slow trends. The weekly chart, I mean, we're getting up there on Microsoft. It's a little on the high side. Okay, SMAR, Smartsheet Incorporated. So this is on Ashley's IPO list. Again, nice looking pop, very pretty move. It's here at the 10. All right, let me analyze these hourlies a little bit better. So if I were playing SMAR, I would want to see a break above this resistance, a good close on the hourly, and then I would set up a limit buy with a stop at 26. So what I will do is draw that, and I'll just come back and look to see if it did it tomorrow. And if it did it tomorrow, then I'll set the trade up. Mike Wilson says it looks like a pennant. It does. It does indeed. So yeah, let's see what Shu does. I mean, again, these newer IPOs, they've been really fun to trade. I like trading IPOs. I just wait usually a day or two, and then I'll play them based on the hourly chart, because all I need to trade is candlesticks anyway. And yeah, it's at the 10, so it could easily bounce here. It could easily bounce. Don't be afraid of it. Remember, folks, trading stock market is as simple as you want it to be. You buy a stock at 27.11 and you put your stop at 26.11 and you sell it at 30.11, you're going to make money. Right? Buy low, sell high, lose less than you win. That's pretty much it. My wave count, this would be a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5. Yeah, bro. All right. There we go. SMAR. Here's Blue Apron. APRN. I looked at Pivotal yesterday. I think it gapped up. I mean, I can put on the list again. Blue Apron. This is the daily chart. Just chilling. It's going to hang out for a little bit. It made its good move. It's going to retest for a while. It's at the 20. Here's the weekly chart, and you know it's going to hang. It moved 100% in value from $1, almost 100%. So we're up like 70% in a week and a half. Not a week and a half, sorry, a month and a half. So here's the daily chart. You're at the 20 EMA. I love the high wave candle. So if it's going to bounce bullish, it really would be tomorrow. And if it doesn't bounce bullish, then just plan for a little bit more sideways action. Honestly, yeah, I would say if it doesn't bounce tomorrow, based on this candle and this like wave structure, just plan for it to get a little boring for a while. Let it rest. It's made its move. It needs to cool its head, trade sideways for a bit, and then eventually break higher. That's my thoughts on Blue Apron. Next on the list is COTY. Cody? What is Cody doing? Cody. Okay. I see what's up. Weekly chart looks good. Yep, bouncing at pretty much the lowest ever. This is nice. I like this one. I like the candle today too. All right, we got 2 plays on this one. Something like this or a breakout. I'll come back to it on Friday and see which of those 2 it's going to start doing, and then we will rock and roll. Cody on the list for Friday. Next on the list is DS, and this is Drive Shack. And Drive Shack, also known as Caddyshack, that's a stupid joke. Here's the weekly chart, and looks good. Don't really know what the wave count would be on this one on the weekly. It's kind of interesting. I'd almost have to see this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 5. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have a little bit of a higher move to go on Drive Shack, and then at that point you get a little bit of a correction. I think that's the count. It looks good. So here's the daily. Volume is coming in. Trend looks good. So James, I think you're in this one. Thumbs up, man. Keep holding. I was looking at this to maybe go bearish. Guess. Incorporated. Let me go look at this hourly pre-market. I would like to have one bearish trade out there just in case. We have a decent amount of bullish trades for sure. This probably won't work, to be honest, but I don't really care about that. If I lose on the trade, that's fine. I really, again, if I lose on a trade, I'm now trying to put into my brain that's just me giving my money to someone who is better than me that day or that week, right? I'm just donating to the market, donating to someone else's bank account. So I like this setup, and I will make it official on guess. I'm just trying to play the S curve. Be quick about it. I'm not going to hold that one forever. If we make an R, R and a half, R and some change, the reason I'm taking it is, as noted earlier, I like having at least one bearish trade out every now and then. And we have a lot of bull trades out there. Some are working, some not so much. So having one out there to maybe offset just in case everything happens. But I think it's a great one. A great bearish trade based on the retest gap, and it's open because it's not triggered yet. And we will throw that right there. So I will be quick on that exits. If I'm at an R, R and a half, I'm like, cool. You know, I'll just take it off the list, take my profits, and lock one in the bank. Okay. New official swing trade. Thank you, brother. Okay, cool. So next on the list, we have DocuSign. And I was looking at this one for my girl, Ash. And this is a beautiful trend. It's a nice wave 3. It's an obvious wave 3. And so Ash got into her first collar today, which it was a really good one. So $80 December and $60 protective put. Free money trade at this point. Can't lose. She bought her shares either right at 60 or a little bit lower than 60. So here's $60 protective put, and here's the covered call at 80. And it either goes up to 80 and sells at 80, or it goes lower. And if it goes lower, like so if the stock does this, I would sell the puts, buy more shares of DocuSign, because that would probably be the wave 4, right? And at that bottom, I would buy back the covered call, as it should have made a little bit of money at that point, and then hold. And hopefully at that point, it goes up to like 65, 70. Then sell like an 85, 90 covered call and buy another protective put and just rinse and repeat. So that's my thoughts on DocuSign. We'll see what it does, Ash. Very cool. Baidu. So I did exit Baidu. I did want to hold it so that we knew that. But again, I just had to reduce my risk. I didn't know which one to take off. It was either going to be that one or Salesforce because they were profitable. So with Baidu, if you're still in, it looks very nice. I love this inside day candle. Keep holding. Here's the hourly trend. Looks good. So yeah, if you're still in Baidu, thumbs up. If you took the profit, thumbs up. I just had to reduce risk. Simple as that. And I'm feeling good at where I'm at right now in the month. Feeling pretty happy. So we will see what happens from here, but just a little under 6 Rs for the month, about 5.725. So we'll see. But anyway, I like this move on Baidu. I like the inside day candle. For those who are in or still in, stay in. Looks nice. MELI is not going to do much for a little while. Most of the traders who had put sales around this general location, to my knowledge, either bought back for a small loss or a small gain. And that was pretty much it. Other than that, it's a little bit of a bearish candle today. It's still below the 200, but you got that 100 on a weekly at 251.16. Could come down to there. This is an inside week candle. It is at a really strong old resistance, new support. So if it's going to bounce, this is where it will. And if it doesn't bounce off of its previous all-time high, it'll trade down into the 250 price range. Adriana says he's in. All right, beautiful, man. Old support, new resistance. I like it. I'm thinking worst case scenario, she probably does something like this just to trap some traders and then bounces higher. So really, if you are playing this one and you're an aggressive trader, you'll notice a very nice chart channel on the hourly. So here's the hourly, and if you're like Dawn, which means you're an amazing human, if it starts trading down to that 282, 280 region, look to buy the dip. I mean, it's in a channel, so buy low, sell high. And if it doesn't work, lose a little bit, and if it works, make a little bit. I like the sound of that. ETP, Energy Transfer Partners, not doing much. It's Energy Transfer Partners, pays a hefty dividend. It's hanging out. A little bit of a bearish candle today. Yep, I don't see anything on ETP, guys. It's going to chill. I'm going to give it some more time, let it keep doing its thing. Nothing really exciting. And then PVTL had a huge gap today on earnings. Huge gap. Obviously, a very easy bullish gap and go. And I'm blaming Mila on this one for not telling me about this gap this morning, because I feel like this was the easiest day trade in the world. And I don't know exactly what this one does. However, with a gap like this and this volume, I'm putting this one on high alert, ladies and gentlemen. Not that I've ever said that before, but play this one bullish. I know it's up 32%. Put it on your watch list immediately. Buy dips. Day trade it tomorrow. That thing is going to skyrocket. It will go higher. So I'll be watching for that to occur. Obviously, the timing will be everything. But on the hourly chart, I don't want to pull back to the 10. And if it gaps above the high of today, tomorrow, which is 28.73, it's gapping up to 28.69 right now. If it gaps above the high tomorrow, trade it bullish. And last but not least, Apple. We'll see if it bounces, right? I mean, so it's going to be all about the broader markets. The Fed, I listened to the talk. There wasn't really anything too disparagingly sad or by any means rough. Obviously, a bearish engulfing candle with increased volume on Apple. We're going to find out by the end of the week if we make money or lose money on Apple, I think. I do like the hourly chart, actually. And the long-term moving averages, the 100s, pretty much here. This will be our knight in shining armor. If we bounce off of it, the trade will work. And if we don't, the trade won't work. And then if Apple breaks that low, this covered call for the shares will work out just fine. And then I will look at waiting a little bit longer on Apple, letting it probably at that point trade down to 178, and then seeing how we end up playing Apple. So those are my thoughts at the present moment, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow is Transportation Thursday, and I'll be broadcasting, I believe, from LA tomorrow at one of my, I don't really know how you call it, client's office. So that'll be exciting. What do you want to look at? Here's FedEx, CLDR, AD&T, Norfolk Southern, Baidu, RTN, AMD, Carvana, IQ, BILI, SYK, and PVTL, ladies and gentlemen. Good grief. She's going to rock. JBHT, Goldman Sachs, Disney. I can do that. I want to see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place. If you have any questions, let me know. You know where to find me. And until then, boys and girls, love life, live life, and trade it. You guys are amazing. Bye-bye.